I finished sewing this tactical style day pack that I made to replace my old Mini Alice pack, and I've been carrying it around for about a month now, and I can confidently say that I'm happy with it. Even more so than this bag it replaced. I've had this other one for over 20 years and it was just time to replace it. There are some things that I'd like to change if I were to sew this bag again, but overall I'm happy with it. The first thing I did when I finished the bag was give it a little stress test. The main seam on the bag turned out pretty ugly, so I needed to know that it wouldn't fall apart while I was using it. I put 3 cast iron pans and a 20-pound dumbbell in the bag and walked around with it. I jumped up and down a little. I sprinted back and forth in my backyard. Eventually, I was satisfied that it was going to hold together. So far, I've used it on a short hike. I've had it in a light rain. Like I said, I've been carrying it around for a month. I've mostly used it to carry around things I need for me and my kids. Things like diapers, wipes, changes of clothes, hoodies for me and my boys, juice, sippy cups, snacks. I've usually got a rain layer in here. Like the bag it replaced, it rides high on your back. There's no frame or anything. It doesn't have load lifter straps or a hip belt. So it's obviously going to get a little uncomfortable if you load it down with too much, but for carrying around my day-to-day stuff, it works well. I'll quickly go over the features of the bag. It was based on the Alice pack, so like the Alice pack, it has 2 compression straps that go all the way around the bag, sewn to the exterior. It actually goes underneath this padding, and then the 2 ends meet back up at these buckles. It also has a drawstring closure. And it's got a bucket style main compartment. It's got removable shoulder straps that attach the same way as my old Mini Alice pack. It's got a lid with a map pocket, although there's a zipper instead of a hook and loop closure like you'd see on a Alice pack. On the interior, I use this orange 500 denier Cordura to help with visibility so you can see down at the bottom of the bag. And it's got 1 mesh pocket instead of the radio pouch that you might have seen on the Alice pack, just for carrying smaller items. Above that, you'll see this zipper here. This is a compartment for a 2-liter water bladder. A 3-liter is going to be a little big. There's some little hook and loop fasteners to hang a water bladder. The other reason why I implemented that was to house a plastic frame sheet so that if I wanted to stiffen the backpack up, I could buy a sheet of plastic, cut it to size, and slide it down in there. You'll notice the exterior is completely covered in PALS webbing instead of the 3 pockets you'd see on the outside of an Alice pack. So with all that PALS webbing on there, I can add pretty much whatever size pouches I want to. If I wanted 3 exterior pockets, I could just have 3 pouches like this, or just whatever you can imagine. It's got these 4 D-rings sewn to the compression straps on the exterior to be used as an attachment point. That way I can attach a sleeping pad or tent or whatever I need to. I was going to do something similar on the bottom, but a while back I made a what I call a tactical duffel bag to carry my one Tigris tent that I bought a while back, and I just wanted to make sure that that was compatible with this. I'll show that in a minute. So rather than have D-rings sewn to the compression straps at the bottom like I did up here, I just decided to go with traditional 1-inch webbing. If there's one thing I'd do different if I were to make the bag again, is that I made a port for a hydration hose in between these shoulder straps here. And it works fine, it's functional, but if I were to do it again, I wouldn't bother making that port. Instead, what I think I would do is on the interior of the bag, where this divider is I would probably have a cutout section where this divider is, and that would be covered in some grosgrain ribbon, and basically the hydration hose would come out of that cutout section out the top of the bag, and then when you cinch down the bag, the hose would be sticking through it. And then I would just leave a section where this lid is sewn together. I would leave a section of that open and then feed the hydration hose through that section where the lid remained unsewn, and then naturally feed that down across the shoulder strap. The way I did it, it's perfectly functional, but I think the other way would be better. The other thing I would do different was when I took this on a short day hike, I filled up my 2-liter water bladder, hung it on the inside of the backpack, and then I didn't realize it, but I didn't have it perfectly centered. It was kind of hanging off to one side, and so I put the backpack on, and you could tell right away it was a little uncomfortable, and you could tell right away that the water bladder was shifted to one side. So I think if I were to make this again on the inside of the compartment for the water bladder, I would either have some kind of a sleeve or maybe just a piece of webbing that would keep the water bladder centered. It's really not that big a deal, but that's just one thing that I would do different now that I know. Oh, and I forgot to mention, underneath this air mesh is some pretty thick polyvinyl foam. It's close-celled, and that's just to provide padding from anything on the inside of the backpack. Try and give you a look at the bag here. Here's a look with some different pouches and stuff attached to the exterior. This is the tent carrier I sewed a while back. If you're interested in making this pack or something similar to it, I made an entire playlist of designing the pack and building it. I'll move this video to the front of that playlist.